Check out America's Quality RV Holiday Rambler during Pleasureland's 15th annual largest RV sale ever, June 6th through the 15th. Every new and clean pre-owned RV in stock will be specially priced. Get big discounts on Free Spirit and Alumilite travel trailers and fifth wheels. Look over the all-new 1000 series motorhomes, as well as Alumilite and Imperial motorhomes, all at great savings. For 10 big days during the largest RV sale ever at Pleasureland RV Center, St. Cloud.
From WCCO Television, the community's first choice for news in the 90s. This is Dave Moore, Cindy Hilger, and John Froyd. And this is the 6 o'clock news.
Good evening, everyone. The Minnesota Supreme Court reversed itself today, extending the rights to people suspected of drinking and driving.
The court ruled by a narrow margin that police must warn drunk driving suspects of their rights before demanding that they take a breath test. Supporters of the ruling say it's part of the American tradition to protect the accused. Opponents say it could help drunk drivers get off when they're caught. Alan Cox explains that the landmark ruling began with a 25-year-old South Minneapolis woman.
2 years ago at a parking ramp, Joy Friedman called police to say a pedestrian was claiming she'd bumped him as she drove out. Police gave Friedman a handheld breath test, a quick read on her blood alcohol content, which flashed red for fail. The next step was to take Friedman in for a more precise test. The police report says she refused 3 times to take the test. She says she didn't understand what they were talking about, and she asked to speak with an attorney. Police refused and revoked her driver's license, as the Minnesota Supreme Court said is proper in a 1985 ruling. Today, the court reversed itself, a majority of justices voting that drunk driving is a serious problem, but we do not believe it justifies canceling out the protection of the right to an attorney. The organization Mothers Against Drunk Driving worries what the message is to drinkers.
I'm sure they're going to say, oh, look, the law's changed and you have to throw this out. I'm sure that a lot of people, a lot of dangerous people are going to be tossed out on the road.
Prosecutors say of 300 or so DWI cases underway in the city of Minneapolis, perhaps 1/4 to 1/2 will have to be thrown out of court. Law enforcement officials have another complaint. They say anything that keeps them in the station house longer with a drunk driving suspect will keep officers out of their squad cars, off the roads, unable to look for more drunk driving suspects. The ruling says that officers only have to give defendants a reasonable amount of time to talk to an attorney, but today no one's quite sure how long reasonable is. But the attorney who won the case says it won't make it harder to arrest drunk drivers.
I don't think it's going to mean that people aren't going to take the tests. I think lots and lots of people took the tests prior to 1985, and I think lots and lots of people are going to continue to take the tests.
Tonight, some police departments around the state will use new language when talking to drunk driving suspects. It's the High Court's attempt to balance the rights of the individual and the safety of the public. Alan Cox, WCCO Television News, Minneapolis.
State Attorney General Skip Humphreys says he will look into reversing the decision by amending the Minnesota Constitution. And he also says the ruling was made by such a narrow margin, 3-2, with 2 justices abstaining, that he may look for a new case to overturn it.
The feud between the Republican Governor Arne Carlson and DFL lawmakers may be headed to court. Today, the DFL leaders said the governor was too late in vetoing a number of bills, and so they say the bills are law. Chief among those bills are one which would prohibit employers from hiring permanent replacement for those workers who are out on strike, and a bill to redraw Minnesota's legislative districts. Late this afternoon at a news conference, the DFL leaders said the governor had missed the deadline and cast his veto 1 day late.
These bills are law, and they are going to be implemented as law. So, I mean, there's nothing we need to do, and there's nothing we intend to do, because that's occurred.
A spokesman for the governor says he believes the bills were vetoed in time, and they say they checked with the Secretary of State's office, which also told them the vetoes will stand. But the governor's office believes that the matter is indeed headed for court.
If the RDF means, if the RDF means,
This morning, outside the state capitol, was 75 protesters' way of saying the U.S. has chosen the wrong government to support in the Ethiopian civil war, that the U.S. is supporting a party just as dictatorial as the one that recently fell in the civil war. Cindy?
It was a week ago today that Pamela Sweeney was found murdered in her Andover home, and a co-worker, Patrick Walsh, was charged with killing her. Since then, Walsh has become a possible suspect in 2 other cases involving women he knew, and authorities are trying to learn more about his activities since he was released from a state hospital after being accused of nearly killing another woman more than 20 years ago. Caroline Lowe has also been looking into Walsh's background. She joins us now from our newsroom. Caroline?
Well, Cindy, it was exactly 20 years ago today that Patrick Walsh was committed to the St. Peter State Hospital after a jury found him not guilty by reason of insanity in connection with the stabbing of a Duluth woman in 1970. Patrick Walsh was released from St. Peter just 6 years later over strong objections from the local prosecutor, who was concerned for public safety. This afternoon, John DeSanto recalled his reaction when he heard Walsh's name in the news again last week.
I guess you always just you have this kind of a sinking feeling that that something like this has reoccurred, and you know, if indeed he's done this latest crime.
Authorities don't know much about Walsh's activity since he was released from St. Peter.
Once someone was released from here, we really had no obligation to continue to follow them. More recently, we do follow people after their discharge.
But investigators do know that Patrick Walsh moved to the Twin Cities and was hired by Unisys in Roseville in 1979. That's where he met Pamela Sweeney, who was murdered last week. They have also learned that Walsh was living in Roseville in 1980 when Cindy Mae Brown, his roommate, was last seen alive. And they know that Walsh's wife's former roommate, Cindy Gertis, was murdered 4 years later near Lake Calhoun. Since his arrest in the Sweeney case, Patrick Walsh has become a possible suspect in the 2 earlier mysteries involving 2 women he knew. I spoke with Pamela Sweeney's mother this afternoon. She said she was shocked and angry to learn that Walsh is now a possible suspect in 2 cases that happened many years before her daughter was killed. Cindy?
Okay, thank you very much, Caroline. The police chief in Redwood Falls has been suspended with pay because he was arrested recently during an abortion protest. 50-year-old Michael Garrity was among 24 protesters who locked themselves inside a Fargo, North Dakota clinic last Friday. Well, still ahead tonight, Mike Fairborn and the weekend forecast. And then later in Dimension at 6, the disappearance of leaded gas and what it means for people with cars that need it.
And we'll close the program with a visit to Carlo, Sherman, and Amigo, who checked out their new quarters at Como Zoo today.
This is the 6 o'clock news on Channel 4.
Your local Northland Ford dealers dare to compare. The all-new, completely redesigned Ford Escort with a more powerful, fuel-efficient engine, redesigned suspension, 5-passenger seating, AM/FM stereo, power steering, and more. We're so confident you'll buy an Escort after a test drive, we'll give you $100 if you buy any other car in its class. It's the Dare to Compare $100 Test Drive Challenge, going on now for a limited time, only at your local Northland Ford dealer.
This is Tom Monahan of Larson Motor Service, your 1991 Avenue dealer in Little Falls, with big news for boat buyers. It's our first ever truckload sale on all Larson and Crestliner boats, powered by dependable Avenue outboards. They're rigged, they're ready, they're specially priced and backed by 45 years of knowing how to treat customers. Remember, quality is your best investment, so come and see us. It's truckload sale time at Central Minnesota's largest Crestliner, Larson, and Avenue outboard dealer, Larson Motor Service in Little Falls.
It's the pre-Father's Day sale at Kolstad's Menswear in downtown Alexandria. Everything you'll want to give Dad is marked down 25% for this special sale. From suits to shirts to slacks, from jeans to jackets, everything at Kolstad's is 25% off for this important event. Great service, great savings, and free gift wrapping during the pre-Father's Day sale now at Kolstad's Menswear, celebrating 80 years in downtown Alexandria.
The 10 o'clock news continues with John Froyd and this 712 update.
Good evening. Sunny skies, warm temperatures, and low humidities made for a very pleasant day in the 712 area, but there's a chance of thunderstorms brewing for the weekend. Looking at the national weather maps, you can see just a little bit of a cloud cover across Minnesota. Most of the cloud covers from the Dakotas down into the Gulf Coast. Current service map shows nice weather in our region, swinging down to Louisiana. But the storms in the Dakotas will be moving into Minnesota by probably late tomorrow afternoon. We can expect a chance of showers on Saturday and on into Sunday. Showers will continue down to Texas, where they've been having storms throughout the spring year. Lows tonight will be in the 60s and 50s for the most part. Highs today were in the 80s with a few 70s and a 59 up at Grand Marais today. And highs tomorrow will be in the 80s across the state. Currently in Alexandria, that's our temperature reading, 80. High today was 80. Skies are partly cloudy, southeasterly winds at 11, pressure 30.16 and falling, humidity 37%. Forecast for tonight, clear to partly cloudy, southerly winds 5 to 15, and the low 55 to 58. Saturday, partly sunny. There's a 20% chance of thunderstorms, probably in the afternoon. Southerly winds 10 to 20 and a high of 78 to 82. For Sunday, partly cloudy. Chance of thunderstorms increasing to 40% and the high 78 to 82 once again. Our extended outlook Monday through Wednesday. Humid Monday with a chance of some thunderstorms. It'll be dry and less humid on Tuesday and Wednesday. High will be in the 70s all 3 days and the lows 45 to 55. The body of an 8-year-old rural Minneota boy was pulled from the Yellow Medicine River around noon today. The body of John Desmet was found about 1 mile south of Minneota. The boy drowned at 7:45 p.m. last night after falling into deep, fast-moving water. The swift water made dragging operations pretty tough. A sheriff's boat flipped over at one point during rescue attempts. We're only in the first week of June, but already we've had several reports of Minnesotans falling out of canoes or capsizing boats and drowning. June 2nd through the 8th has been set aside as National Safe Boating Week, and it gives us the perfect opportunity to remind you of the rules for safe boating. First and foremost is to wear your life jacket when you're in your boat. The law states that you must have a personal flotation device for every person aboard. Officials say a large number of boating accidents involve alcohol, and just as with cars, booze and boating do not mix.
We ask people to make sure they have the basics when they're out on the lake, a fire extinguisher, make sure the lights are in good operating order, and make sure that they have their life jackets.
Boating accidents account for numerous injuries and deaths each year. Law enforcement officials encourage anyone who will be on the water this summer to take it easy and play it safe. Bird watching is fast becoming one of the country's most popular hobbies. 712's Barbara Hine introduces us to a man who lives on Long Lake near Park Rapids who has taken that hobby a step further.
In 1987, this purple martin colony was made up of 9 pairs. This year, there are about 75 pairs. The colony's landlord is Park Rapids native Don Wilkins, and Don admits he never expected this many martins to move in.
The question is what is the limit? I don't know, but I've got probably another 50 houses up in the shop yet to put out. I'm already prepared for next year.
What's unique about this colony is that it stands on the water, not on land. But Don believes that since martins prefer a wide open flight area, putting the houses out in the water away from the trees is logical. Most martin houses sit 15 to 20 feet above the ground. These are much lower. Don says that happened by accident.
When I first put the houses out, I put them up so that I could raise and lower them. And the second year I had the martins here, the martins moved in before I raised the houses. So I figured if they were happy, I was even happier.
With the houses lower, Don has easier access to the birds for banding. He's been banding for about 30 years and can track his martins all the way to Brazil, where they winter.
During this time of year, it's almost a full-time job. I call it a hobby. Some people would say it's an obsession.
With photographer Tom Hine, on Long Lake, Barbara Hine, 712 News.
Our 6 o'clock news update continues in a moment.
Somewhere, special memories are waiting for you.
Somewhere between a smile and a laugh.
Somewhere your dreams can come true.
Somewhere between the sky and the sea, between the night and the stars.
Somewhere, only on Princess, because it's more than a cruise. It's the Love Boat.
During Wix Furniture's great upholstery sale, you'll save at least 20% on every upholstered item. Save on every sofa, love seat, sleeper and recliner, chair and sectional, even leather upholstery. They are all on sale. And remember Wix 48-hour guaranteed delivery on all in-stock furniture. Plus put no money down with no payments or interest charges due till October. Same as cash with a Wix charge.
Better than ever, Wix Furniture.
Summertime is the perfect time to save at Menards. Build your kids the ultimate activity center with the Frontier Tower Hideout or Commander's Tower Swing and Slide kits. They're on sale now for a summer of fun. And restore the new wood look to your deck, siding, and more with New Deck Exterior Wood Cleaner and Brightener. Now just $5.99 after mail-in rebate coupon. Treat your home to savings from Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
It's Gilliland Chevrolet's Wild Weekend Used Car and Truck Sale, now through 9 p.m. Monday. Come in and choose from over 150 used cars and trucks, all discounted and backed by our 5-day money-back policy. Get 90s as low as $69.99, 88s as low as $49.99, and 86s as low as $19.99. Plus, get 6.9 APR financing on any used car or truck you purchase. Hot dog and Coke for a quarter through 9 p.m. Monday at Gilliland Chevrolet Geo, 3019 Division Street, St. Cloud, your high-volume dealer.
A study being conducted by the Department of Natural Resources along the Mississippi River should help the muskie population in the years to come. 712's Joel Street reports.
We're looking to document habitat use by the muskie and which habitats are used at different times of the year. One of the more critical things is to determine exactly where the muskie spawn in the river.
The 2-year study began late last summer when the DNR caught and released 16 muskies from the Mississippi River between Brainerd and Sartell. Those fish were tagged and a small electronic transmitter was implanted.
Pretty much like any surgery, an incision is made, the transmitter is implanted, and then the incision is closed with sutures, and the fish is put in a recovery tank, and the whole process probably takes something under 20 minutes, and the fish is ready to swim away.
With the receiver picking up transmission from the fish, Gaiman is able to find, track, and identify the muskies, getting as close as about 10 feet from the fish.
This particular fish is number 490. Actually, that's the frequency at which he's transmitting the signal.
That area on the river is then analyzed and the data collected.
Such as dissolved oxygen, depth, the substrate, how fast the current is moving in the river, temperature, and a number of other things that are critical to the muskie habitat and survival in that location.
By determining what habitats are used, officials can then determine what types of areas on the rivers should be protected.
Already we've seen that muskie use certain parts of the river that at least superficially appear similar, but yet muskie are found in one area, and in an area just a few miles downstream that appears similar, they won't be found there. And we're attempting to define what are those subtle differences that make for good muskie habitat, and we'll be able to use this information to protect those waters.
And keep the muskie population safe and growing for the future. Near Brainerd, Joel Street, 712 News.
This is my last newscast on KCCO-KCCW television. I will be starting a new job as anchor on the 6 and 10 o'clock news at WEAU-TV at Eau Claire, Wisconsin. I'd like to thank all of you for being with me these past 20 years on 712. I shall miss you very much. I don't really care for goodbye, so I'll just say God bless, and until we meet again.
You know, I went to the first 2-room schoolhouse in the county, and I wish I knew then how important school is. I would have paid more attention. A lot of kids today seem to treat school like a joke. Too bad some of their parents do, too. I sound like the town coot. But education is important, and it ought to be treated like it is. Wish I knew that when I thought I was so smart.
Oppenheimer, Wolf, and Donnelly, committed to making our area a better place to live.
It's time to relax, everybody's laid back. Your tummy lets you know it's time for a snack. There's just one way to get you back on track. It's Snack Attack. Get Wells Blue Bunny. It's Snack Attack. Get Wells Blue Bunny. Snack Attack. Get Wells Blue Bunny.
When a snack attack strikes, fight back with a thick, rich Wells traditional bar. A fudge light with a great taste of 100% NutraSweet. A citrus snack made with real fruit juice. Or a delicious ice cream sandwich.
When it's Snack Attack, fight back with